This is Narda Lake. This is the house where we stayed last night. After a 7-hour grueling uphill journey, all the way from Kel Seri Bazaar to here, we reached at 9 p.m. last night. And अच्छा भाई जी ओ जिता असां जाना थोड़ा जा सो असांगी ए वीडियो पर थोड़ा गाइड करे छोड़ो उस जगह पर खड़े we're possibly around 9,000 feet where we are at the moment, maybe just a bit more, and we're going right up there where you see those glaciers. And if you can see in the middle of the screen, beyond that peak is where the Narda Lake is, and we are told that it's around 15,000 feet high, and beyond there will be Saraswati Jheel, and beyond there will be Narda Devi Jheel, and let's hope we can get to all three today and then descend from the other side back down to where most of humanity lives. Mr. साहब कुछ कहना है आपने?
ये हमारा सफ़र
नज़दीक है।
हमने बहुत मुश्किल और बहुत दिलचस्प सफ़र किया इस दौरान झील की तरफ। हमारी कोशिश है कि हम तीनों झीलों से होते हुए वापस कामयाबी के साथ वापस आएँ। बज़ाहिर के हमें ये रास्ता मुश्किल लग रहा है, लेकिन हमारे हौसले बहुत ज़्यादा बुलंद हैं।
सही।
हम इसे इजीली आसानी के साथ एंजॉय करते हुए पूरा करेंगे।
सही, ज़बरदस्त, शुक्रिया असद साहब, आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। हम एक अजनबी के तौर पर कल रात आपके यहाँ आए, आपने हमें देसी चीज़ें खाने को दी, उन चीज़ों ने हमें मज़ीद तक़वियत दी। सुबह उठे हम और मज़ीद आपने हमारी खिदमत की, बल्कि आपने चंद रोटियां भी हमें दी साथ ले जाने के लिए। इसके लिए आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, और ज़िंदगी भर हम ये याद रखेंगे। दुआ करें कि हम तीनों झीलों को देखकर कामयाबी से नीचे उतरें इंशाअल्लाह। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया असद साहब, थैंक यू, मेहरबानी। There you go. There's other bags there as well, residences, and as I say, we need to get right up there, and it's about 6:15 at the moment, and it will take us many hours to get there. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we proceeded for about another couple of hours, and we're almost at par with the peak, maybe 1,000 or so feet less, and the old man, बुजुर्गों सुना क्या ना है?
तुसांदा ना क्या है?
मारा आलमदीन है।
आलमदीन।
मारे कौन बंद है ना? छठी लगी ताप है, देखो थप्पड़ है।
It's a man who says he's about 100 years old, and he lives here at 10,000 feet. ये इनके सर्दियों में तो नहीं रहते यहाँ पे ये, हाँ?
नहीं सर्दियों में नहीं रहते।
सही है। तो इनसे फिर से पूछें माई नारदा की झील तक पहुँचने के लिए रास्ता हम कैमरा के अंदर लाना चाहते हैं।
माई नारदा तक पहुँचने का जो रास्ता है ना, वो उसकी ऐसी वीडियो बनाना चाहते हैं। तो कैमरे अंदर तुसी ये दसो कि इधरों कितना एक दूर पैसी ऐसा रास्ता?
इधर जो दूर पे है
ना, कितना एक रास्ता है इथों उधर तक?
राह है जो
उधर मोड़ के गाना, उस तरफ मोड़, उधर उन्ना दर दस
जी दसो
ये रास्ते दे बारे ची दसो ना
जी
उन्ना रास्ते दे बारे दसो।
रास्ता दसो
हाँ उन्ना ये जेड़े खलते दे बुजुर्ग ना इना रास्ता दस।
बस रास्ता ये जो सीधा ये तेरे सी पर तेरे सी पर सीधा कहने पर बड़ियां कलाइयों को लक्ष्यों को ना कट्ठे जोड़ दे ये नाला जोड़ा बाल जोड़ता होता माई दादा और जो तो शिरकत है
ठीक
उस हफ्ते आजड़ी भी है उतना सारे अब क्यों तो वो पैसा उतने छमी देसी भगता पानी उस माई ना तो ना मैं तो रखता मैं ना दूँगा
ठीक.
शुक्रिया चाचा
मैं हिला वो थोड़े थे को
So, after 7 hours of an uphill journey yesterday and about 3 hours of a relatively more plainer route, we're almost at the summit. It's just there, but the power of the sun is preventing us from showing you the peak of Narda in its clarified splendor. There's water coming down, and these are glaciers, as you can see. जी मोहतरम ख्वाजा गुलाम मुश्तबा साहब, 7 घंटे कल और 3 घंटे आज के सफ़र के बाद क्या कैफियत है आपकी?
मैं
क्या
तो
कहते हैं आप?
बहुत अच्छा और फ्रेश महसूस कर रहा हूँ। हम नेचर को एंजॉय कर रहे हैं क्योंकि हम जहाँ पर जा रहे हैं ये एक बहुत तारीख़ी जगह है जिसे हिंदुस्तान के अंदर हिंदू मत के लोग काबा मानते हैं। हम फ़ख्र महसूस करेंगे कि हम अगर वहाँ तक पहुँच जाते हैं, लाजमी पहुँचेंगे, ये हमारा टारगेट है। और जो रास्ता है बहुत ज़्यादा मुश्किल और दुश्वार गुज़ार है, लेकिन हमारी हिम्मत और हमारे हौसले बहुत ज़्यादा बुलंद हैं। हम इसको लाजमन अबूर करें।
सही, ज़बरदस्त. So, in a few more hours we'll be there at the top to bring you the next bit of footage. Thank you for watching. Right. You can see Sharda village from here in the middle of your screen, and you can also see the flowing of river Kishanganga as well. And we're on par with the various peaks in this region, and apologies for having to face towards the sun, but the summit of Narda Jeel, where we want to go, is there in that direction, so we're actually very close now. We're getting closer inch by inch. And I just want to say that this field down here, this green lush field, is full of snakes, and you may not be able to hear the hissing sound from here, but well, I think it's a case of humans taking evasive action as well as snakes taking evasive action. I noticed when I passed them that the hissing went silent while I was passing. But of course, if they would have felt in danger, then there's no guarantee that they won't attack. But as long as they feel safe and secure and they feel that the human being is passing by harmlessly, there is very little chance of the snake attacking. Thank you for watching. Okay, edging yet closer. Now this should be as clear or clearer than anything that you've seen earlier this morning or even yesterday. And it is just that little bit left. And beyond that is Narda Lake. And for some reason today's climb has been relatively easier than yesterday's climb, which was extremely steep, and it was a total incline. Today we've been zigzagging and coming across some plain areas too, and the usual incline as well. And where to height level is difficult to say. 14,000 feet above sea level. I'll need to go and check this up when I return, hopefully. Okay, well, we've reached a peak of sorts, but Narda Jeel is still about 2 or 3 hours away beyond this summit here. And there's a beck here as well. a gentleman, has been very kind to give us lunch, and we've had some rest here, and it's just gone past 2 p.m. If you remember, we started walking about 6:30 in the morning, so we've been resting here for about 2 hours, more than 2 hours in fact, and these are his children. जनाब, आप कुछ कहना चाहेंगे? वीडियो पर कुछ कहना चाहेंगे?
नहीं, कुछ भी नहीं।
अच्छा, ठीक। ये कुत्तों के लिए ये जो एल्टीट्यूड है, मौसम, इसमें उनको प्रॉब्लम नहीं होती?
नहीं नहीं, कुछ भी नहीं।
Right, we are crossing peak after peak. Every summit gives us the impression that that is the top, and then subsequently we could travel plainly or horizontally if you like. But no, each peak gives us that illusion, and after every peak is yet another peak. I'm losing my voice, but my spirits are still high and my health is still okay. As you can see, we have gone beyond most other peaks in this region. Okay, now we're in the middle of nowhere. What you can see there is the clouds. You can't even make out anything like the Kishanganga River or Sharda or the other mountain peaks, because we've come beyond that, and we're in Glacier territory full time. There's Khwaja Ghulam Mushtaba, and apparently we have just one more peak to overcome before we get to Rati Gali. Not Rati Gali, I should say. Narda. My Narda, as it's known here locally, Lake. And apparently the path from Narda to Saraswati Lake and on to Narda Devi Lake is perhaps, even despite our determination, it could be foolhardy to try and attempt those. But let's see. Thank you for watching. It's almost 4 p.m. Right, finally, the last hurdle. That water that you see cascading down is coming out of the lake. The very lake that we've been trying to get to since 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Narda Lake, my Narda Jeel, as it's known in local parlance. And we've got to avoid these glaciers and take this steep, green, dry patch up to that rock, between those rocks. And that will take us parallel, horizontal, to the lake. And I just want to say, not only is my voice changing, but I feel my stomach is so full that I feel weak. And I'm only drinking water at the moment. So one last hurdle. Let's see if you can do it without any mishap.
जी, हम इस वक्त नारदा झील पे हैं। इसकी बुलंदी सतह समंदर से तकरीबन 17,000 फुट से ज़्यादा है। आप देख सकते हैं कि इसका कपा देने वाली सर्दी में यहाँ पर इस टाइम टेम्परेचर माइनस में है। हम यहाँ पर रात गुजारने वाले हैं। हमारा प्रोग्राम है कि हम नाइट यहाँ पर गुजारें। महसूर कर देने वाली नारदा देवी की ये महसूर कुन अदाएँ हमें हमेशा याद रहेंगी इस रात के साथ। खूबसूरत मनाज़र, ढलती शाम और ख़ूबसूरत मनाज़र। कैमरा में, वीडियो में आप भी देख सकते हैं कैसा पुरसकून और खूबसूरत माहौल जो हमें मजबूर कर रहा है कि हम रात को यहाँ पर रहें ताकि पूरी तरह से इस माहौल को एंजॉय किया जा सके। शुक्रिया।
लगा कर आदमी यहाँ पे आता है तो फिर
इस
उसको कम से कम 12 घंटे यहाँ पे गुजारने चाहिए।
इस सफ़र के दौरान हमें यहाँ पर 36 घंटे लगे हैं यहाँ पहुँचने में। तो यहाँ पर जिस जगह को देखने के लिए हम 36 घंटे लगा सकते हैं तो वहाँ पर एक दिन गुजारना, एक रात गुजारना तो बनता ही है। हिमालय के दामन में वाक़या है खूबसूरत वादी। बस।
Right, so we're trying very hard to light a fire here. It's the morning, about 5:45, and this is where we spent the night, the two of us, in one sleeping bag. Hey, hey. And my Narda Lake is just over there. The sun should be entering from that direction, eastwards. It's already quite bright. Somewhere over there in the horizon, although you can't make it out in the picture, in the video here. Camera can never be as good as the naked eye. It's hard work. जैसे पुराने ज़माने में पत्थरों को रगड़ कर आग पैदा करते थे, अगर एक लाइटर हम कुर्बान भी कर दें, लाइटर उसमें गैस है वो फटेगी। आई या उसकी गैस निकाल दें, गैस फेंक दें लकड़ी के ऊपर, है।
ये वो गैस नहीं है जिसको हम लकड़ी के ऊपर फेंकेंगे और वो जलेगी।
Okay, finally, yesterday evening, after about 36 hours, we reached this place which has been sacred and is ancient from many centuries, maybe many millennia, where the people following Shiva, or what we describe as Shivmat followers, would have been coming all the way up here, which is around anything between 15,000 and 17,000 feet above sea level. And many people come to Sharda, and from there they climb up, ascend continuously from 6,500 feet, or maybe about 6,200 feet is the height of Sharda. And if you look at the outer perimeter of Sharda Peeth, you will find stones which have been taken from here. And if you look at the lake itself, Narda Lake, or My Narda Jeel, as it's called in local parlance, you can tell that the Ashtami of late August, early September is when the lake is more clear. At the moment you can see the greenery, you can see the texture, the bluish, greenish texture of bits of it which have melted. But for the large part, obviously, it's still frozen and covered with snow. We wanted to go from here, proceed from here to Saraswati Jheel and then on to Narda Devi Jheel, but as you can see the temperature around is going to be very difficult for us if we were to walk to those two other lakes. So we'll have to leave that for some other time. Coming here as well has not been without difficulty. It has required great grit and determination on our part, and especially this young man who had to keep on waiting and had to be patient with me walking up. And I've been carrying 20 kilos on my back as well, carrying various clothes, laptop, papers, etc., etc. So this is what I wanted to show you guys. And if you just look around, वो यहाँ से नज़र नहीं आ रहे हैं, वो जो लोग हम थोड़े से पीछे जाकर बनाएंगे. Okay, that's enough for now. Stop. So now we came here last night. We arrived just beyond here. It's a place where there's a large boulder where we slept underneath, and I wanted to wait for the sun to reach this point. अब इस तरफ आ जाएं ताकि सूरज की शुआएं जी जनाब क्या कहना चाहेंगे आप?
हम जो इतना मुश्किल सफ़र करके यहाँ पर पहुँचे हैं, करीबन 36 घंटे का सफ़र, यहाँ पर पहुँच के वो 36 घंटे का सफ़र, वो खटन, वो मुश्किलात एकदम से दूर हो गई. ऐसा लगता है कि हमें यहीं पर ही रहना चाहिए, क्योंकि जो जगह है वो बहुत ज़्यादा खूबसूरत है, लेकिन दुश्वार गुजार रास्ते हमेशा के लिए न सिर्फ हमें बल्कि दीगर आने वाले लोगों को भी मुश्किलात का शिकार करते हैं.
सही.
हम लोगों ने बड़ी हिम्मत और जुर्रत के साथ ये फासला तय किया, और लास्ट नाइट जो हमने यहाँ झील के ऊपर गुजारी माइनस टेम्परेचर के अंदर, ये हमारे लिए बहुत बड़ा इम्तिहान था और बहुत बड़ा जो एक्सपीरियंस हुआ है, हमें यहाँ पर तजर्बा हुआ है कि हमने यहाँ पर जो नाइट गुजारी है बग़ैर आग के, और हमारे पास जो बिस्तरे थे वो भी बहुत ज़्यादा कम थे. तो सो वंडरफुल, ये हमारे लिए बहुत ज़्यादा हैरत अंगेज़ है कि हमने यहाँ पर हम यहाँ तक पहुँचे हैं और इस नेचर को हमने एंजॉय किया.
सही.
ओके,
बहुत शुक्रिया आपका कि आपने हमारा साथ दिया इस बहुत ही सब्र आज़मा काम के लिए. जैसे मैंने इंग्लिश में पिछले वीडियो में कहा कि हम चाहते थे कि हम आगे सरस्वती झील और नारदा देवी झील पर भी जाएं, लेकिन मौसम और हमें नज़र आ रहा है कि जो रास्ता है वो नहायत ही कठिन है. जो हमने रास्ता अब तक जो नापा है उससे भी कई दर्जे ज़्यादा कठिन होगा. तो शायद उसके लिए हम अगले साल, इस साल भी नहीं, अगले साल हम थोड़ी सी हिम्मत करेंगे, अपने आप के अंदर फिटनेस मज़ीद करेंगे, मज़ीद बेहतर करने की कोशिश करेंगे, और तकरीबन अगस्त के आखिर, सितंबर के शुरू में जब ये काफ़ी हद तक पिघली होती है, शायद उस वक्त रास्ता
क्लियर हो.
हाँ, क्लियर हो. बहुत शुक्रिया ख्वाजा गुलाम मुश्तबा साहब. अवलवाद. So this is the last direct view of the Jheel. I don't want to leave this place, but what can I say? So Narda is this place and Sharda is down there. Now some people describe Sharda and Narda as sisters. You can use the beginning letter of each word to even signify south and north. This is most certainly north, Narda, and that is most certainly south, Sharda, which you can't even see yet because of the clouds. So when the Hindu, I would say, inheritors of this territory will start coming here, then we'll be able to refine all those truths and myths over the past centuries and millennia. And taking this video and coming here is really a part of that process. You can see that the waterfall is gushing down, and that part of the water there has melted and which is flowing downstream, and it will eventually flow all the way down to Sharda. Right, not to miss any angle, we decided to come to the foot of the waterfall where the lake becomes the waterfall. We're going to have to be very, very careful. I'll see you again in a few minutes. So as you can see, some of the lake has melted, that part of it certainly, while the rest would have to come in late August or early September, let's say, to see this lake in its full splendor. Right, now these pieces of stone which have been assembled together and are forming some sort of a shape, this is what I wanted to find out. What is the significance of these? Are these locally assembled by local people, or is it part of some ritual, and is it ancient? Right, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, so here's a closer look at the assembled stones. So there's quite a few here. There you go. So you have more than half a dozen. Plus, we're towards the final stages of our visit to Narda Lake, and this is part of the process of exploring Sharda, Narda, Saraswati, Madhumati, Kishan Ganga, Sindhu Ganga, Narda Devi, and there is so much that needs to be assembled, needs to be refined, and needs to be made common knowledge, so that we can share our respective beliefs, and we can improve the quality of coexistence and religious harmony between these different religions, and never allow religion to play a part in dividing people, and to never allow politicians to use religion in this despicable manner. Something which was taught to us by Pax Britannica. You can start from 1857, or you can start from 1909, the Minto Moli reforms, having separate electorates for those people of different religious identities. So in this contemplative mood, I bid farewell. There's even flowers here. So we hope that very soon our compatriots, our Hindu Shiv Mat compatriots throughout Jammu and Kashmir can visit here, and all the other sacred places that are sacred to them. And our Sikhs, our Buddhists, any place, all the places of significance to them, we hope that they can have access to them and they can rebuild that heritage which was spoiled, cut off in 1947. Shukriya. Thank you. Right. So we're about to depart, and you won't even be able to see the Narda Jeel from here, the Narda Lake. It's a good 15-20 minutes from our pit stop where we stayed last night. And we did try this morning to light a fire without success. Even it's very difficult to even get a lighter to work. And last night at some point there were some very, very dark clouds, and it was looking very ominous that there would be impending rain, and not just rain but hailstones. But we managed to avert that, and right there in the sky the moon was giving us some kind of illumination. So now we begin our descent all the way down to Kel Seri, from 17,000 feet approx down to 6,500. So as we're on our descent, we've been wondering how on earth did we climb these steep inclines all the way from Kel Seri down to here. Now my friend here, Mr. Khwaja Ghulam Mujtaba, tells me that this resembles a murti, and in fact could be a murti. Our friends across the Odyssey can perhaps help us verify whether that is so or not. We've come a few hundred feet down from Narda Jeel. Right, so we've descended a few thousand feet, and while going uphill constantly is a challenge in itself, coming downhill constantly is also a challenge, and the body works hard to adjust. I haven't been able to eat anything since yesterday after having such rich food on the first night, on the 22nd, as well as on the morning, yesterday morning, and yesterday afternoon I can only eat a few morsels of churi which had goat butter, and since then I've just been relying on a few pieces of dry fruit here and there and plenty of water. I constantly feel thirsty, and if you notice, when we are up there in Narda Lake, there was greenery but you couldn't find any trees there. So now we've descended to the extent where we're beginning to see trees, and you may be able to look at Sharda village from there, which is directly opposite Narda Jeel, which you can't see from here because we've already descended quite a bit. Water everywhere. जी, ऊपर जाने का अपना चैलेंज है, नीचे आने का अपना चैलेंज है, दोनों मुश्किल हैं।
दोनों मुश्किलें, और सफ़र गर्मी की शिद्दत में बहुत ज़्यादा जो धूप है वो डायरेक्ट हमारे सर पे पड़ रही है, इसकी वजह से सफ़र जो है वो बहुत ज़्यादा मुश्किल का शिकार हो रहा है। दूसरा रास्ता भी जो है वो ठीक ना होने की वजह से हमें काफ़ी ज़्यादा दुश्वारी का सामना।
ठीक। Well, I just want to give you an example of water galore. Many channels, multiple channels here of water as we're following the stream all the way down to Kel Seri. This is our guide, and let's hope we can get there. We're more than halfway back. Just a little bit longer. The path isn't quite so apparent, but let's see. Okay, we're traveling along these cliffs on very, very narrow ledges, or ridges I should say. Ultimately we need to get somewhere in the middle there. So we're not too far actually, maybe an hour, a couple of hours away at the most. And of course, we've yesterday evening and this morning, we were somewhere which is even much higher than that peak up there. So this is where I slept last night, and this is our third night. Although my young friend Khwaja Ghulam Mushtaba, he proceeded on to Kel Seri, which is in that direction there, and only about 20 minutes to half an hour walk away. But last night at 7:30 when we reached here, I was too tired because we had begun our journey at 8 o'clock that morning from Narda Devi jail, and these past 3 days, today being the fourth morning, has been my most grueling journey ever taken in my life, by far, I would say. You can hear the water there, and sleeping here underneath grass, or sleeping above grass if you like, was brilliant. Without being able to think of a better word for it. So almost at the end of my journey, the fourth morning, and it was great, something to write about too, and to write poetry on even. Right, you can see the speed of the water gushing past. I have to cross onto that side to continue the path down to Kel Seri. Yeah, imagine that. Right, it's about 8:45, and even though I started walking at around 5 o'clock, sorry, not 5 o'clock, about 5:30. 4 hours later, even though the distance between that last bag and Kel Seri down there, which of course is not visible yet from here, but I am close, but my legs feel like rubber. Still haven't been able to eat anything for the past 2 days, and I'm going on liquids, on water, and this morning I had some lassi. Now I'm wondering, this fine wood stacked up here, stacked up there, stacked up there, and well, stacks in various places. What is the procedure? What is the process? Who does this wood belong to? Anyway, let's hope this is my last break, and I can get to Kel Seri safely. I just wanted to show you the ferocity of this water. It is hitting the ground and spraying water in all corners, and that's the route I came down. Yes, indeed. And although you can't see it from here, but you can see life at the bottom, not so far away from here. So I'm inching closer and closer. So, a few minutes ago, I was telling you about habitation, and that building there in the middle of your screen, and before that you'll see a crane. So that is it. That is where I need to get to, safely and soundly, and that will bring me back to where normal civilization resides. I just hope that this experience, which has been the most grueling experience, physical experience I've ever had in my life, certainly in the context of my age, 47, I'm really hopeful that something humane and something really good for the betterment of humanity will emerge from this. So lo and behold, I have finally reached the main road. This is the road going to Kel. This is the road going back to Sharda. And well, this water is the very water that is sprouting out of the lake of Narda Devi, where I was until yesterday morning at about 8 a.m. And it took us about 36 hours to get to that summit. Anything between 15,000 and 17,000 feet. I do need to check that. But it has taken me almost a further 36 hours to get back here to the main road, and my vehicle is just maybe half a kilometre or so on that road. And it's been tough, absolutely tough. And as I say, as I've mentioned before, the most grueling physical experience of my life. I'll leave it there for the moment. My clothes are ripped and I'm shattered.